I just got back from church, and today's service was about maturing with your mantle. And although the pastor was talking about all these different factors when it comes to the mantles that God has placed on your shoulder, there was a specific part that really got to me that I really think will get to you. So I want to talk about it. And it was next level faith. My whole life and story and the way I live is truly about faith and taking risk. I believe, and not even that I believe, I know I have so much faith that I didn't think that you could really challenge it until I was sitting in that church and it was being challenged. And Pastor asked a few questions that really challenged my thinking when it came to faith, and it made me realize that my faith isn't at that next level and not at the highest that it should be. So the first question he asked was, is your faith so strong that people around you gravitate towards it? Is your faith, I guess like what I took away from it is when people look at my life, the way I move, when I'm posting on social media, when I'm talking about it in a blog, or what I'm talking about in a video, does my faith come off so strong that it inspires you to have that faith? And that's always been my ultimate goal when it came to my work anyway. And that was a really good point, is when you look at yourself and you talk about how much faith you have in God, is it so impactful that it makes people around you want to have that much faith and believe in Him in that way? The second question he asked was the one that really, really got to me. And he said, how great is your faith that when you're under attack, you don't even look at the enemy? That hurt my soul too. So, like I said before, I have great faith, but I'm honest with myself enough to know that I still get discouraged, and I don't have that kind of faith that pastor explained. And I have that type of faith where, if something discourages or disappoints me, I know at the end of the day that it's going to work out for my good. Everything happens for a reason, and whether that's good or bad, it's always going to work out in your favor because God is that good. But sometimes when discouraging and disappointing things happen to me, I sometimes let it get to me. And I have not even my days, I can go weeks, months without feeling any kind of discouragement. But sometimes that builds up, and then you get that discouragement, and then you just find yourself in a slump, and you don't want to work on anything. You want to just stay at home and just lay there and watch TV, and just you have no motivation. So trust me, I have been there, and I still go through that from time to time. So when the pastor was saying, do you have faith like that, I knew I didn't have that. And I want to get to that point where if something discouraging happens, even though I didn't let it get to me before for a long period of time, I want it to never let it get to me. I want it where when something bad happens, I don't look at the enemy and I don't even think about it. And of course that's easier said than done, but it really challenged my thinking. And it's it made me question so many different things. It made me question, one, why do I allow myself to get discouraged when something discouraging or disappointing happens? Even if it's for just that moment, why do I allow that to happen? Because God has this proven track record in my life of proving that any bad situation that I've been in or anything that has hurt me has always worked out for the best. And so one, I was questioning myself on that. Two, I was questioning when you have faith and you have such a great relationship with God, it doesn't mean that you're never going to be tested again. And I think that was one of the things I was actually talking to someone about. It was a couple weeks ago, where it was I was being tested. My faith was super being tested. And like I said, my whole story has been about taking leaps of faith. And you know, I felt like I passed the ultimate test. Being one of my biggest ones was moving to Los Angeles with no plan and no job and leaving everything at home and everything I ever knew. That was like my biggest leap of faith. But then there were so many little things that I did that required that courage. And so one thing I really learned when it came to faith was, just because you have faith and you have passed multiple tests and you think it's like, what other test is there to prove that you have faith? That's what I was really praying about. I was like, seriously, God, I have proved over and over again how much faith I have in you and how much I can pass these tests. And I thought, oh, okay, I'm not going to be tested anymore. He knows, like, I know that he's got me. And that's not true. Even when you have faith and you have proved that, you're going to have to prove that faith over and over and over and over again. So if you have already taken such a big leap of faith and it took everything in you to do that, I hate to break it to you, but something's going to happen again, and it's going to require even more courage than the faith that was needed in the last time. But it's okay, because it's a part of your destiny. It's a part of your story, and you, at the end of the day, you make it through that test or whatever it is. And yeah, I just want to encourage you guys to take your faith to that next level. Have that next level of faith, because that's what I'm going to be working on now. Like, you know, it's one thing to have faith, but it's another to have that kind of faith, that next level of faith. So I don't know where you guys stand when it comes to your faith. Like I said, I understand, you know, getting discouraged and feeling like you shouldn't have to pass any more tests, but you're okay. You were built for whatever it is that God is going to throw in your way. And I don't even want to say it's what God throws in your way. Like, it's not like it's a game to him and he's like, oh, let me see if he or she can handle this, blah blah blah. It's not like that. Like, anything that comes at you, you were already prepared and built to make it through. So I want to encourage you guys to have next level faith. And one thing that I definitely meant to talk about in the beginning of my video is, you guys already know about my church notes book, where I take all my church notes, I handwrite it, and I turn it into a book, and it's completely free. But I also started, well, I can't say I started this new thing because I really started today. I'm going to take my notes from all my services, so nothing from the book, and I'm going to take my notes from today's service and send it out in a newsletter with this video. So if you guys want to get the full notes of everything I took away from this service, you can join my newsletter on my website, jendeleon.com, or just comment your emails below and I'll add you to the list. And every Sunday I will be sending my church notes, and eventually we'll be mailing out all the physical copies. So thank you guys for watching. If this helped you or inspired you, comment below and strive for that next level of faith, because having that next level of faith will just put your mind at peace, and you'll always be happy, and like, that's what you need in life. So have a great Sunday, have a great rest of the week, and thank you guys again for watching.